If you've been feeling stressed, forgetful, or waking up tired even after a full night's sleep, I want you to hear this. There's one simple habit you can do before bed that helps lower cortisol, your stress hormone, and improves memory while you sleep. And the best part, takes less than 2 minutes, doesn't require supplements, and works because it taps directly into the way your brain naturally resets overnight. Most people try to fix their memory during the day, but the truth is your brain repairs itself at night. And if cortisol is high, that repair process gets blocked. Once you learn how to calm it down before bed, you can literally help your brain work better while you sleep. Here's the thing about cortisol. It's not the enemy. You need it. It wakes you up in the morning and helps you stay alert. But when it stays too high at night, your brain can't shift into deep sleep. And deep sleep is where memory gets processed, sorted, and stored. If you toss and turn, wake up frequently, or feel mentally foggy the next day, high nighttime cortisol is often the reason. The simple habit that can help fix this is controlled nasal breathing, specifically slow, gentle breathing through your nose for just 90 seconds before bed. Not meditation, not breath holding, not anything complicated, just slow nasal breathing. Why does this work so well? Because breathing through your nose activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that tells your brain it's safe to relax. Now, when that system turns on, cortisol naturally drops. Not dramatically, but enough to let your brain shift into the calming wave patterns needed for memory formation. Slow nasal breathing also increases nitric oxide, which helps your blood vessels relax and allows more oxygen to reach your brain. More oxygen at night means clearer thinking in the morning, better recall, and improved focus throughout the day. A lot of older adults don't realize that their nighttime stress response is affecting their memory. They think forgetting names, misplacing items, or walking into a room and forgetting why is just aging, but in many cases it's actually poor sleep depth caused by elevated cortisol. When you bring your stress levels down before bed, you give your brain the space it needs to clean out toxins, repair cells, and strengthen neural connections. This is why people who practice slow nasal breathing before bed often say they wake up feeling clearer, lighter, and more mentally sharp. Here's how you do it. Sit or lie comfortably, close your mouth, and breathe gently through your nose only. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, then exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Don't force anything. Don't push the breath. The goal is comfort, not perfection. Do this for 90 seconds, about 10 to 12 breaths. That's it. You're simply telling your body to shift gears from stress mode to recovery mode. Many people feel their shoulders drop, their heartbeat slow, and their mind quiet down within the first few breaths. This works because your nervous system listens to your breath. Fast breathing equals stress. Slow nasal breathing equals calm. And when you calm your system before sleep, your brain gets to work cleaning, repairing, and strengthening memory the way it's supposed to. It's like wiping fingerprints off a fogged mirror. Everything becomes clearer the next morning. So if you're tired of feeling stressed at night or waking up mentally foggy, try this simple habit tonight. Just 90 seconds can help lower cortisol, deepen your sleep, and give your brain the chance to reset. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who struggles with sleep or forgetfulness, and subscribe for more science-based tips to support your brain, body, and overall health. Good night, and take care of yourself. Your brain will thank you tomorrow. High nighttime cortisol is one of the biggest hidden reasons so many people struggle with memory problems, poor sleep, and morning brain fog, yet most seniors never hear about it. Cortisol is often talked about as a stress hormone, but its real job is to help regulate your daily energy rhythm. It rises in the morning to help you wake up, and it naturally falls at night so your body can rest. But as you age, this rhythm can get disrupted. Stress, pain, late night eating, worrying thoughts, blue light from screens, and even certain medications can keep cortisol elevated long after the day is over. When cortisol stays too high in the evening, your brain simply cannot shift into the deep, restorative sleep stages it needs. You may fall asleep, but the sleep isn't deep enough to repair your brain. Deep sleep is where your brain does its housekeeping. It organizes memories, removes waste proteins, repairs nerve cells, balances neurotransmitters, and strengthens the neural pathways that help you think clearly and learn new things. If your cortisol is high, your brain gets stuck in a lighter sleep stage, almost like it's hovering instead of fully relaxing. You might toss, turn, wake up frequently, or wake up too early. Even if you sleep for 8 hours, your brain doesn't get the slow wave sleep it needs to perform those nighttime maintenance jobs. This is why so many people open their eyes in the morning and immediately feel foggy or mentally slow. They slept, but the sleep wasn't deep. What's even more surprising is how cortisol affects memory specifically. When cortisol is high at night, it interferes with the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for storing new memories. This makes it harder for your brain to take the information from the day and lock it into long-term memory. Seniors often notice this as forgetting names, misplacing items, having trouble learning new things, or losing their train of thought. They assume they're getting older. But in many cases, the root problem is that their brain never got the quiet, deep sleep it needed to file away information properly. Cortisol basically keeps the brain in survival mode, interrupting the calm conditions required for memory formation. Another important part of the story is inflammation. High nighttime cortisol increases inflammation in the brain, which further disrupts its ability to reset itself during sleep. Your brain works incredibly hard during the day. It builds connections, processes emotions, manages your thoughts, and coordinates your entire body. Nighttime is when it finally gets a break. But when cortisol is high, the brain stays alert, tense, and overstimulated. This creates a cycle. Poor sleep raises cortisol even more, which then leads to even worse sleep the following night. Many seniors think the tiredness they feel is just part of growing older, but cortisol-driven shallow sleep is one of the biggest reasons older adults feel exhausted, forgetful, or unfocused. The good news is that when you lower cortisol at night, even a little, your brain can drop into those deeper sleep stages again. And once the brain enters deep sleep, everything improves. Memory, clarity, mood, creativity, and even physical energy. Understanding this connection between cortisol and memory helps people see that their brain isn't failing. It's simply not getting the environment it needs to restore itself properly. And when you fix cortisol at night, you aren't just improving sleep, you're giving your brain the chance to function the way it was meant to. Slow nasal breathing before bed may sound simple, but it creates a profound shift inside the body because it directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for calmness, repair, digestion, and deep sleep. For many seniors, this system becomes less responsive with age because stress, chronic worry, and everyday tension constantly activate the opposite system, the sympathetic nervous system, which keeps the body alert and on guard. When this alert state continues into the evening, cortisol stays elevated, heart rate stays slightly higher, muscles stay tense, and the brain struggles to slow down. But slow nasal breathing has an immediate effect on the nervous system, telling the body the day is over. It's time to rest, which is exactly what the brain needs to enter restorative sleep. Breathing through the nose rather than the mouth is key because nasal breathing naturally slows the breath and filters, warms, and humidifies the air in a way that mouth breathing cannot. The nose produces nitric oxide, a molecule that helps open blood vessels and improves circulation to the brain. Better circulation means more oxygen reaches the areas of the brain responsible for memory and emotional balance. When you take slow nasal breaths, especially at night, you increase the amount of nitric oxide in your system, relaxing your blood vessels and signaling the brain that it's safe to shift into a lower stress state. Mouth breathing does the opposite. It activates the stress response and can even raise nighttime cortisol. This is why nasal breathing is essential. The rhythm of the breathing also matters. When you inhale slowly through the nose for 4 seconds and exhale even more slowly for 6 seconds, you trigger a neurological response known as vagal activation. The vagus nerve runs from your brainstem through your chest and into your abdomen, and it's the main communication highway of the parasympathetic nervous system. Slow, extended exhaling stimulates this nerve, sending a clear message to the brain, relax. This causes cortisol to drop naturally, the heart to slow, and the muscles to release tension. Even doing this for just 90 seconds has measurable effects on stress levels, heart rate, and sleep readiness. It's like flipping a switch inside your chest from alert mode to recovery mode. Stress and shallow breathing tend to go hand in hand. When people are anxious or overwhelmed, they breathe quickly or hold their breath without realizing it. This keeps cortisol high and prevents relaxation. Slow nasal breathing breaks that pattern. It gently retrains the body and brain to associate bedtime with calmness, not tension. Many older adults who try this simple technique report a noticeable shift. Their shoulders drop, their chest feels lighter, and their mind becomes quiet enough to fall asleep faster. The impact on memory is connected to how the brain responds to this calm state. When cortisol levels fall and breathing becomes slow and steady, the brain begins producing the electrical patterns needed for deep sleep. These patterns, slow delta waves, are what drive memory consolidation. Without deep sleep, memories don't solidify. Slow nasal breathing helps guide the brain into the correct state, so memory can be repaired and stored effectively. The beauty of this technique is its simplicity. It requires no equipment, no medication, no training, and no long routines. It's just your breath, something you already do, done in a way that supports your nervous system instead of overstimulating it. For seniors who feel overwhelmed by complicated health advice, this practice offers a clear and gentle solution. Slow nasal breathing gives the brain exactly what it needs at the exact time it needs it, helping lower cortisol and setting the stage for deeper sleep and sharper memory the next morning. Nasal breathing does something incredibly important at night that most people never think about. It increases nitric oxide, a natural compound. Your body produces that relaxes blood vessels and helps oxygen travel more efficiently to your brain. After age 50, the brain becomes more sensitive to oxygen levels, and small drops in nighttime oxygen can affect memory, focus, and even mood. The next day, when you breathe through your mouth, the air enters too quickly and bypasses the nitric oxide your nasal passages produce. But when you breathe slowly through your nose, you allow your body to create and deliver this helpful molecule, which improves blood flow to the brain and supports the deep sleep stages needed for memory formation. This process doesn't rely on supplements or medications. It's built into your biology, just waiting to be used correctly. Nitric oxide acts like a gentle signal to your entire circulatory system, telling your blood vessels to open and allow more oxygen-rich blood to flow. When this happens before bed, your brain receives a steady supply of oxygen during the most important part of the night, the first few cycles of deep sleep. These early sleep cycles are when your brain sorts memories, clears toxins, and repairs connections. If oxygen levels dip because of shallow or mouth breathing, this repair process becomes weaker. Many seniors experience memory lapses, mental fog, or difficulty concentrating, not because their brain is failing, but because the brain never received the oxygen it needed during sleep to reset itself. Nasal breathing also slows the heart rate naturally, which creates a stable environment for memory consolidation. When the heart rate is too high, the body remains in a light sleep state. Light sleep may feel restful, but it doesn't give the brain the deep restorative waves required for learning and remembering information. Slow nasal breathing gently guides the body into a rhythm where the heart, lungs, and brain synchronize. This is what makes deep sleep possible. It's a state where the brain becomes quieter, the nervous system calms down, and cortisol levels fall low enough for the brain to enter its nighttime repair mode. Without this state, memory fragments instead of forming fully. Another overlooked benefit of nasal breathing is that it filters out irritants and regulates airflow. When the air is filtered, warmed, and humidified, the lungs absorb it more efficiently. This prevents the sleep disruptions that happen when the throat becomes dry, scratchy, or irritated from mouth breathing. Seniors who sleep with an open mouth often wake up multiple times without realizing it. Each of these awakenings interrupts the sleep cycle and prevents the brain from reaching deep sleep consistently. But when you breathe through your nose, airflow remains smooth and the brain stays in the deeper stages for longer stretches. This uninterrupted deep sleep makes a huge difference in how refreshed and mentally sharp you feel the next day. The oxygen boost from nasal breathing also helps protect brain cells from stress. High cortisol combined with low oxygen is a damaging combination that accelerates cognitive fatigue. But when nitric oxide improves oxygen delivery, the brain becomes more resilient. The cells that store memory can function properly, and the pathways that help you recall information remain strong. Seniors often notice that after a few nights of slow nasal breathing, they wake up feeling clearer, more focused, and less mentally drained. They may not know the science behind it, but the effects feel noticeably different. What makes this practice especially powerful is that it works even if your sleep isn't perfect. You don't have to breathe through your nose all night to benefit. Even 90 seconds of slow nasal breathing before bed triggers the nitric oxide release and the calm state that helps your brain transition smoothly into deeper sleep. Your body simply needs the right signal at the right time, and nasal breathing provides exactly that. By improving oxygen delivery to the brain, you're supporting the very process that strengthens memory, clears mental fog, and promotes better cognitive function the next day. Many older adults assume that forgetfulness, misplacing things, or feeling mentally foggy is simply part of aging. But in many cases, the root issue is not age. It's shallow sleep caused by elevated nighttime stress. When cortisol stays high in the evening, the brain has trouble shifting into deep sleep, and deep sleep is where memory is formed, sorted, and stored. The brain is not a machine that simply shuts off when you close your eyes. It goes through cycles, each with a specific purpose. The most important for memory is deep slow-wave sleep. This is when the brain cleans out waste proteins, repairs neural connections, and converts short-term memories into long-term ones. If stress keeps you in lighter sleep, your brain never reaches these restorative stages consistently, which leads to memory issues that feel like aging but often aren't. Many seniors wake up and immediately feel tired or mentally heavy even after 7 or 8 hours of rest. They may walk into a room and forget why, struggle to recall names, or feel like their thoughts are slipping. But what's really happening is that their brain was never able to complete the nighttime repair cycle that protects memory. High cortisol interrupts this cycle by keeping the nervous system too alert. Instead of drifting into deep sleep, the brain hovers in a lighter state, ready to wake up at any small noise or internal signal. This light sleep helps the body rest, but it doesn't help the brain rebuild. Over time, this creates the same effect as skipping a night of sleep repeatedly. The frustrating part is that many people don't feel stressed at night, yet their cortisol remains high. This can happen because the nervous system has been trained over years to stay alert late into the evening. Constant phone use, television, worrying thoughts, late eating, and poor breathing habits all raise cortisol even without emotional stress. As a result, an older adult who feels calm may still have a brain stuck in an alert mode, unable to drop fully into the deep sleep that memory depends on. The brain needs a clear signal that it's safe to relax, and without that signal, it keeps the stress systems active. Memory problems also come from the brain being overloaded by information that never gets filed properly. During the day, you experience conversations, tasks, emotions, and decisions. At night, the brain sorts all of this information, deciding what to store and what to discard. But if deep sleep is disrupted, this sorting process becomes incomplete. The next morning, everything feels cluttered, like trying to work at a desk full of unsorted papers. This scattered feeling is not senior moments. It is the brain struggling under unfinished nighttime work caused by stress. Another issue is that elevated cortisol affects the hippocampus, the region of the brain responsible for forming new memories. When cortisol is high, the hippocampus becomes less efficient. It's like trying to write notes with a pen that's running out of ink. You can still write, but it's faint, inconsistent, and difficult to read later. This is why seniors with chronic nighttime stress often have trouble remembering new information, but can easily recall older memories from years ago. The new memories never had the chance to be properly stored because the brain wasn't able to do its job during sleep. The encouraging part is that improving nighttime relaxation can rapidly improve memory, often within days. When cortisol is lowered before bed using slow nasal breathing, the brain is able to enter deeper sleep cycles earlier in the night. Even small improvements in deep sleep dramatically strengthen memory processing. Seniors who practice this often report waking up feeling sharper, recalling things more easily, and feeling mentally lighter. These changes happen because the brain finally gets the uninterrupted time it needs to repair itself. This shows that forgetfulness isn't always a sign of aging. It's often a sign of a tired brain that hasn't been able to reset properly. Lowering nighttime cortisol gives the brain the calm environment it needs to rebuild memory pathways, clear mental fog, and restore clarity, proving that better memory is possible at any age when the brain gets the right conditions to rest. What makes the simple 4-6 nasal breathing pattern so powerful is not just the breath itself, but the signal it sends to the entire body. Most people think sleep is controlled by how tired you feel, but in reality, your body enters sleep based on whether your nervous system feels safe enough to relax. During the day, your sympathetic nervous system, the stress system, keeps you alert, thinking, reacting, and moving. But at night, your body is supposed to switch to the parasympathetic system, the recovery system. This is the system responsible for lowering heart rate, calming the mind, healing the body, and preparing the brain for deep sleep. When you intentionally slow your breathing before bed, especially with a longer exhale, you activate this recovery system. The long exhale tells the vagus nerve to calm the body, which then sends signals to the brain that it's time to release tension and let go of stress. In those moments, cortisol naturally starts to drop. What's special about this technique is how quickly it works. You don't need 10 minutes. You don't need meditation experience. And you don't need silence or candles or perfect conditions. You simply need the willingness to breathe slowly and gently. When you inhale for 4 seconds through your nose and exhale for 6 seconds, the body enters a rhythm that is scientifically linked to relaxation. The extended exhale is especially important because it physically slows the heart rate. As your heart rate drops, your brain stops releasing stress chemicals and instead begins releasing calming neurotransmitters that prepare you for sleep. This is the moment the switch happens, the transition from alertness to restoration. Many people notice their shoulders drop, their eyelids getting heavier, or their thoughts becoming quieter within the first minute. That's the parasympathetic system turning on. Once that system activates, the brain becomes able to start the tasks it performs during deep sleep. These include strengthening memory, repairing brain cells, organizing thoughts, and removing waste products that build up during the day. You cannot force the brain to enter deep sleep by trying harder or by lying still, but you can guide it there by giving the body the biochemical cues it needs to shift modes. Slow nasal breathing is one of the most direct ways to do this. It's like giving the brain a gentle push toward the rest state that allows all the nighttime repair processes to happen smoothly. The beauty of this habit is that it becomes more powerful with consistency. When you repeat the same slow breathing pattern every night, the brain begins to associate that rhythm with sleep. Over time, your nervous system learns to shift into calm mode faster and more automatically. This means you fall asleep more easily, stay asleep longer, and wake up fewer times throughout the night. Each of these improvements helps create longer stretches of deep sleep, the sleep stage your brain needs to rebuild memory and sharpen cognition. It's not uncommon for people who practice this nightly to wake up feeling clearer, more focused, and more balanced in the morning. For many seniors, the biggest surprise is that such a small action can make such a big difference. But that's because it works with the body's natural design instead of against it. You're not suppressing cortisol artificially. You're allowing the nervous system to regulate it the way it was meant to. You're not forcing the brain to remember better. You're giving it the conditions that support memory. Sleep becomes deeper because your body isn't fighting itself. Stress melts because your breath has created a safe internal environment. And the next day, your brain works better because it finally had time to restore itself. This simple breathing pattern is more than a relaxation trick. It's a nightly reset button for your brain and body. It gives you back control over your stress, your sleep, and your mental clarity in a gentle, natural way, no matter your age. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take just 90 seconds for yourself. A few slow breaths through your nose can lower your stress, calm your mind, and give your brain the deep restorative sleep it needs to protect your memory. It's simple, it's natural, and it works because it helps your body do what it was designed to do. If this video helped you understand your sleep and memory a little better, make sure to like it, share it with someone who struggles at night, and subscribe for more gentle, science-based tips to support your health as you age. Rest well tonight. Your brain deserves it.